Hi, it's Anna from Metalzone. We are here with MIKAEL STANNE from Dark Tranquilliity. And we're going to talk with him about the past of the band, now and the future.
Everything, yes.
Okay, there have been 20 years, 10 albums.
Yeah.
Do you ever expect this big success?
We didn't expect anything, really. I mean, sure, you have aspirations and you have things that you really want to do, you know, with the band, but I think first and foremost for us, it was all about just getting together in a room or a garage or whatever it was, and write music, you know, and create something that felt new and fresh and interesting, you know, and that was all we needed, you know. Then things just started happening, you know. Our idea was never to, you know, dominate the world or whatever. It was all about just, you know, if we can get away with having fun and making music together, then fine.
It just happened.
Yeah.
An accident.
No, but then of course, you know, it kind of got interesting when we started releasing albums and we got a record deal and stuff like that, and then things just kind of started going. We had no real idea what we were doing, you know. We just went with it, you know.
You don't know what's the key for this?
No, I really don't. Well, the key is to focus on what is important, and that's the music. Then everything else will eventually work out as well. You know, obviously the whole kind of the business side of things is very important as well, and more important now than ever. But at first, you just have to focus on good songs and a good show. And, you know, put it on like and make it honest and real and something that you can be proud of. You know, and not cheat your way to kind of to get where you want. You know, it's like take the time that you need. You know, we spent years, you know, just rehearsing every single day just to be able to play, you know, and construct songs and stuff like that, and that was most important to us, and it still is, kind of, you know. So I think that's where it comes from. Like that, as long as we have that still, you know, that's fun. Then everything else just kind of will fall into place and happen.
I actually, this will be my first Dark Tranquilliity show, but I have seen some videos, and I'm really surprised of your attitude on the stage. You are happy, spending a great time, interacting with your fans. It's like, hey, this guy should be on his first show. He's...
Well, it is some, like, I think the feeling of when you go on stage, I'm always kind of worried and nervous about what it's going to be like, and if it's going to work, if people are going to dig it, you know, if it's going to be...
You are so close to people.
Yeah, but you're always worried. So once you get on stage and everything works out and the sound is good and the audience is amazing, that relief and that kind of the gratitude that we feel that we get that kind of reception makes us, that's the best thing in the world. And you can have, especially on a long tour, you know, it's hard to sleep. You're sleeping on the bus and you're drinking too much, and it's a lot of travel and everything like that. So some of the days can be really horrible, really tough. You know, you feel like crap. You miss your home and your family and friends and all that stuff. But then once you get on stage, like within 1 second, that turns into the best day ever. You know, you go from like, oh, I can't do this, to like absolute euphoria even. I mean, it's that going from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high is such a exhilarating thing. And that's something I look forward to every night. And that adrenaline rush that comes from going on stage is like heroin to me. It really is. Like I get addicted to it.
That's nice. So
it's really hard to go to sleep after the show and stuff like that. You're just still on this kind of a high, and it makes touring more difficult, but at the same time, the reward is so much greater when you actually...
Yeah, actually the best shows are when musicians are enjoying the show.
Yeah.
Then have you ever before heard the music or not? But you are enjoying this show because they are so happy and...
Yeah, and I mean that's what I want in a show as well. I want to see that the audience are enjoying themselves, or the members of the band are enjoying themselves and having like getting into it, and you know that kind of feeling is very infectious. You know, It's like this back and forth between band and audience is incredibly important to me.
That's the best thing.
Yeah.
You began with In Flames, and under Freedom began with Dark Tranquility.
Yeah.
How was this change? Well, in Göteborg there are a lot of musicians, a lot of bands. I guess you were all friends. Or...
Yeah, for sure. And it was when we started. All of us lived on the same street, you know, and Anders was the neighbor of Niklas and us, and we were all just,
it was family.
Yeah, you know. So then I played guitar. You know, we formed the band together, and we said, Anders, you should sing, and Anders, you play drums, and Martin, you play bass, and that was it. And then after our first album in '93, we felt like we didn't really get along musically, or we didn't work together properly. So we told Anders that he had to go, you know, and then I started singing, and we got another guitar player. And then shortly after that album was released, Jesper was kind of tired of his current band, and he wanted to form a new band.
Jesper Stromlet.
Yeah, and he asked me, like, can you sing with us, because we need someone. And I was like, you know, I'm pretty busy. I just want to be in one band, but just record a demo so we can get a record deal. And so I did, and it was fun. And then they got a record deal immediately, and then they've convinced me to sing for that album as well. So that was basically it. And then we did a few shows, and then they had a couple of other singers before Anders joined them. So it's kind of funny how it ended up happening like that. But at the same time, it's very natural to us, because we were all just a large group of friends who were constantly hanging out, constantly going to shows, and drinking and partying together, you know, and talking about music constantly.
And that happens.
Yeah, so it's kind of a natural thing, actually.
Are you still playing guitar, or it's gone?
I try not to, because I'm horrible. So I shouldn't. I play at home.
But not for the Tranquility anymore. Do you compose some guitars?
I used to. It was a long time ago, though. I've written a few songs, but I leave it to the guys who are really good at it.
Okay. There is a big evolution in between those 10 albums.
Yeah.
Especially when the keyboard player come to the band.
Yeah.
There is a lot of change. It was an accident. Were you searching for it?
Yeah, we were. I mean, it was something that we wanted from the beginning. Like, we wanted like a different sound, you know, something that was unique and something that kind of made us stand out. So we tried a lot of those things ourselves, you know, on the first couple of albums. And then we talked to Martin, because he was a friend of us. Like, oh, you should join and help us out. And he was like, I don't know, you know. And then when we finished the Projector album, he listened to that, and he was like, you know, there are influences here that we share. You know, he could get into it, because he didn't grow up in the same metal world that we did, you know.
Yeah.
So, but he felt like, well, there's room for other things in this, in our music, you know, and he could find his place and be kind of productive, or, you know, in our band. So that was a lot of fun, just having something else and something new to experiment with, you know.
How have been the composition process? Are you working together?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've always done it pretty much in the same way. Like, most of our albums, or 9 of them actually, have been done in our rehearsal room. You know, us just sitting around talking about the material that we have, just trying things out, just playing. And that's awesome, you know, when sometimes you discover things that you hadn't thought of, or you come up with something new and original that wasn't the original plan. And that is incredible. But it takes forever, and it's also cause for a lot of conflict and, you know, and frustration, because sometimes you love a part and then someone hates it and stuff like that, and you go back and forth. But it's kind of like, well, we've always done that, you know. But with this new album, we felt like, let's not do that again, because then perhaps it will sound exactly like the older albums and stuff like that, or we will get caught, because you have your ups and downs, you know, creatively. And we were kind of in a really low point at the time. We were just felt like, where do we take the band? What do we do? Like, how do we come up with something that feels fresh and new, and not just rehashing and a reworking of something that we already done, and so we started writing in the studio instead, because we have our own studio, and
I know.
so we just recorded and listened to it, and recorded and listened to it, and went back and forth and started building songs like that. And all of a sudden, like, we could be more objective about things. You could kind of take a step back and actually listen to the song and take it home and listen to it, instead of having it in your mind constantly for months and months while you're rehearsing. So this made us more kind of aware of the song, so we could focus on individual parts in a different way. So it was really, really interesting, and it turned out better than we could ever have hoped for. So I'm just happy that we did something different and it worked out.
What about the lyrics? All are yours?
Yeah.
Nobody's helping with that, or
Yeah.
you want it for you?
Well, it's the hardest thing that I do in life, I think, and I love it and I hate it in equal measure. It's really frustrating, because you want it to be perfect and you want it to be exactly the way I'm, pictured in my mind, and then if I can't come up with stuff that is that good, I hate myself for it, and then I spend so much time writing that everything else just gets lost.
You're very poetic, very dark.
Well, I don't know. It's just something it's serious. It's something that I have to stand on stage and scream about for years to come. So it has to be something that matters to me, So it's, you tend to explore and find out things about yourself and about your situation that might not be pleasant to think about. So it's a lot of anger and fear and frustration and hate and disappointment and all those kind of the strongest emotions that I can find, because that's what I want in the music. Because this is powerful music. It has a lot of meaning to me. So then lyrics have to kind of accompany that. So, but normally when a song is close to being finished, then I start listening to it at home and go over it 2,000 times and start writing something that feels appropriate, And then I redo it and I redo it and I do it again and I scrap everything and then I do it over again, and then we finally record it, and I'm semi-happy with it sometimes.
Okay, a lot of work for Eric then. There are some songs wrote by Martin and Anders.
Yeah.
The whole song. They wrote the guitars too? All the music?
Yeah. It's like, Anders writes on a piano normally, but we adapt it into it. So it's like his original idea, and then someone else adapts
his melody?
it. Yeah, so that's basically it. And Martin Renström writes, on piano as well, or in his, with his keyboard, and so we just add guitar. So it's basically just the basic idea that is from certain someone, and then we all collaborate to make it happen and sound good.
Yeah, sure. That's the most important thing, being together. Okay, so you're one of the few bands that are still with most of the original members.
Yeah.
What's the situation of the bass player? Are you looking for someone to join the band, or?
We'll see. Just for this tour, we don't have one, because we felt like we were like, the dynamics in the band was so that we didn't really feel like we want to bring someone else in, because it was kind of tough to make this album, and we just don't want someone else to kind of come into this group, because of course four of us have been with the band for 23 years, stuff like that, and you have kind of a certain shorthand and you speak a certain way, you have a certain kind of language amongst yourself, and we were like, let's take care of the five of us now, and then we'll see what happens later on. But for now, it's just us. And that feels kind of weird, but at the same time, it's healthy for us.
Okay. The tour, you are beginning the tour. It's going until April, I guess.
Yeah.
How's being away from home for so many months? It's tough. It really is. But we planned it quite nicely, I think. Like, we're going to play a lot, but also
we're gonna be home, for short breaks. And something I kind of like is that we play every day when we're away. We don't waste any time away from home without a show. Like, so every day is show day, every night is a gig, and then you go home and you can spend as much time you can with your family, and then we leave again. So I'll be home for Christmas after this, and then we leave after Christmas. We do South America and stuff like that, and America and all of Asia and Australia and stuff like that, and then by April we're gonna be done. But that it's just for a couple of weeks, and then we start the festival season, I think.
Yeah. And then what's next?
I don't know.
You're planning to write a new album, or by now you're not thinking about it?
No, we haven't really started thinking about it, but it would be cool. Like if we get inspired, if we feel inspired. But I'm thinking that perhaps we'll be totally burned out by the time we get home from
you
from all
need
this
a
tour.
vacation.
Yeah.
Okay. What's about the last tour last year? You can tell.
Yeah.
You were going to come here.
Yeah.
But it was cancelled.
Which was due to a promoter guy that we worked with. That was just like a bad dude. Just bad news. Dishonest and didn't follow up. I think he didn't really have the know-how. We talked to him long before that tour was, like, 2 years ago or something like that, and he had some ideas about the tour, and we were like, oh, all right, sounds like a good idea, and then we actually confirmed it. But then we started hearing all kinds of things about this guy.
Yeah.
That he ripped off people, and and we started hearing from venues that they didn't have the information they wanted and stuff like that. So it just turned out to be such a bad deal that it would have been a total disaster to go out on tour.
Yeah, you
it would have been
the whole tour.
Yeah, it would have been just horrible. So we decided, and we hate canceling anything. You never want to do that. You want to, if people expect us to come, we want to come.
Unless a whole tour.
Yeah.
Over Europe.
But all of it was, it was so badly organized, and that it would have been a disaster. So I'm very happy actually that we canceled, because that meant we could record the album earlier. It meant that this tour feels so much better now. We do it properly with our own planning and our own organization, and this actually works. So I'm sorry for the people who wanted to come, but at the same time, this is so much better.
Yeah, you're here today.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, we're done.
All right,
Do you have
cool.
anything to say to the fans, Spanish fans?
No, I'm just really happy to be here. It's always been one of our favorite places to play in Barcelona. So I look forward to tonight's show.
Me too.
Great expectations.
Thanks so much, Mikael.
Cheers.
Cheers.